Hey, it's Donna Cravata, and I am here to show you a sneak peek of BeVisible.club, which is the membership site that I have been working on for a while. And it's so much more than a membership site. And I wanted to go over a little overview of what's inside and then show it to you and see if you have anything to say. Maybe you'd like to join us. So bear with me one moment as I share my screen. Okay, let me just put that in present mode. Start at the beginning. All right, so BeVisible.club, and it's all about being visible. So there are two parts. There is the community, which is all built on the Heartbeat platform, where we can engage. We have uh, calls 2 times a month, and there's interaction between the community members, lots of interaction, and I answer questions, and there is just a ton of resources and information there. On the other side is the tried and new course. And this diagram shows everything that is inside. So there are 4 parts of the tried and new course. There is storytelling, which covers story gathering, sound bites, and taking your story through a tried and new process, which I'll explain in a moment. Then there's audience development. This is where we listen and we research and we figure out who your audience is, and we find them and we start connecting with them. So you can build an intentional small audience that is in line with the work that you do and the mission that you have, and all of the things that you love doing in the world. Are built for the audience that you want to connect with. So instead of randomly putting things out on social and not connecting with the right people, it's listening first and figuring out where your people are. Content. So we have content strategy, creation, and repurposing, and that goes through a tried and new process too, which again, I will explain. And then media. So this is publicity, PR, speaking opportunities, podcasts, media opportunities, and how to pitch. It's an entire masterclass that I have been giving this class for years. Many years ago, it was called Publicity Prowess, but I redesigned everything. So Tried and New came about over this last year while I was redesigning my business. And I realized as I was doing all of this work, both in my business and creating this content and creating the real 50 over 50, that everything I do is a tried and new process. So it's taking the things that are tried, we know that they work, mixing it with something new so you can stand out to your perfect audience. And I'm going to walk you through what a tried and new process looks and feels like. So I was watching this show, the Swedish death cleaning, and it is in such alignment with this process. It was really about, like, going through your stuff before you die so you can build relationships with the people in your life while you're still here, and give them your stuff. Anyway, my tried and new process, it's just taking everything that you have and going through it. What stays, what goes, what could be upcycled or repurposed, what can be sold, what could be given away. So just as an example, I'm going to say, let's say you had a series of blog posts. You haven't looked at these things in 3 years, but 3 years ago, this was the focus of everything that you worked on for months. So let's go back and take a look at that. Why was this so important? Relevant because what was so important to you 3 years ago is part of what got you to where you are right now. So what needs to stay? Because a part of that is a part of you and the work that you do. And then what goes? What do we no longer need? Get rid of that because that's holding you back in some way. And then what could be upcycled or repurposed, turned into something else? And as you're going through that process of how can we repurpose this into something else, think about, can this be made into something that I can sell? Can this be a product? Could this be a service? Could this be added on to something I'm already doing? Or maybe it's something that you can give away. Maybe you can update something free that you offer to people, because it's better than what you're doing now. So if you take your content through that process, and if you take your story through that process, because the same thing happens with your story, there are big chunks that you forget about along the way. And most of the people that I work with end up that they're in some form of transition for one reason or another. And I had been doing this with clients for years and not realizing that it was this process. And when I gave it a name, it just all kind of made sense. So I'm going to dip into the first part of the tried and new process, which is your story. And your story is the heart of your business. So I saw this show on, I believe it was Netflix, with Michelle Obama, The Light We Carry. And right in the intro, she said, I don't have all the answers, far from it, but I do have my story, and you do too. And to help us weave those stories together, I'm thrilled to have my dear friend here to illuminate a path forward. Her friend was Oprah. We are not Michelle Obama. Oprah is not our friend, I don't think. But we all do have our stories, and it is our path forward. So, what happens when we take that tried and new process and we put our story through that, and we find the parts that we forgot about, we thought were irrelevant, we thought nobody would care. But think about them. Think about what was so important to you a couple of years ago. Think about that book that you wrote that has been sitting on a shelf. Or maybe there were pages and pages of the book that were edited out. What happened to all that content? We are all sitting, if you've been in business for a couple of years, you're sitting on a pile of content. So, what can you go through that you already have, that tells these bits of your story that you've kind of disregarded along the way? Human beings are naturally wired to respond better to storytelling than most other forms of content sharing. This is because a story has an impact on our brain, which promotes the production of oxytocin, a hormone associated with trust. And like we are in a trust deficit right now. So if you can spend a little time buffing and polishing your story, the content you already have, and put it together in a way that builds trust with that audience you want to connect with, that puts you ahead of other people that aren't doing this. And quite honestly, it's not very hard. I just took a group of people through this process earlier today, and they were blown away by how easy it was and how it made everything just make sense. So we all tell our stories in different ways. We tell them at different times and for different reasons. But what if we really pay attention to the different ways we tell stories, and when we tell them, and who we're telling them to? Like, what is the message we want to convey with that story? What is that story that you've told over and over again for years, where your significant other rolls their eyes? Like, how can you change that? What can you take from these little snippets of stories that you've lost along the way to kind of make the stories that you tell richer and more meaningful? So they connect, because a lot of times we've got these stories that we've just repeated because it was what we said before, we copy pasted. But what if just dug under the surface a bit, and you found these things, these milestones, these story milestones that were the pivotal points that brought you to where you are? That is what people connect with. They want to understand what makes you the person that you are today. They're not going to connect with where you're going because they don't trust that. That's not real. They want to connect with where you've been. How did you get there? What were the things that you did? How does it align with what they're doing? Maybe you're a few steps ahead of them and you can inspire them. Maybe you thought of something they didn't think of. So, don't lose these little bits of who we are. They're so incredibly important. When our stories have gaps, our audience also feels that gap, and that can make them leave. When people leave, they don't come back. And then you have to start all over again. You have to start that trust dance all over again. So we help you in BeVisible.club. We help you fill the gap in your story. And now I'm going to move on to audience. So I am not a demographics person. I believe in shared values. And understanding what matters to your perfect audience is the foundation of your business. The story is the heart, the audience is the foundation and understanding those values. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'm speaking to people that are all personal brands, really small businesses, and what you do represents who you are. And in many cases, in most cases, our clients are very much representative of who we are and care about the same things. So if you can really understand what it is that they care about, and you can build your content, your offerings, where you show up based on your set of shared values, that really builds this solid foundation of caring more than other people might care, of showing understanding, showing that there is an alignment there that's deeper than the bottom line, that's deeper than a sale. And this is where real relationships happen, and where you end up growing together instead of, you pushing somebody over a milestone, but you're there together for each other as you're both growing collectively. And that audience kind of grows around you because you're all caring about the same things. So Seth Godin has this blog post. It's one of my favorites. Almost no one. Every time you talk about reaching someone that you imagine changing the world, you should find yourself a nickel. It's almost impossible to reach everyone. The most popular podcast in the world has reached one out of every 2,000 people on the planet by a rounding error. That's not nearly everyone. In fact, it's essentially no one. The same is true for the most popular salsa, the best-selling writer, and the leading nonprofit. You're going to reach virtually no one, and that's okay. The question is, which no one? Who is your no one? Your smallest viable audience holds you to account. It forces a focus and gives you nowhere to hide. But first, you need to choose who is your no one. Make it small. So, as you're pulling all of these pieces together, this is an image that I've used for a long time because it represents that what you grow, what you're building, what you're gathering grows, and it creates this integrated root system. So when I first started to use this image, it was about social media, PR, and content development, and how the three pillars of marketing kind of grow together and build these roots that intertwine. But it is so much more than that, because it's about your audience. It's about the people that you connect with. It's about what you share. It's about what you care about. It's about your story. And all of these pieces come together, and they go through the seasons of trees, of life, of, things come and go. And again, it's the try to new process. Something stays, something goes, something's upcycled, something could be sold, something could be given away. So keep going through that process with everything. And make note of the points of connection, because these points of connection, that is where the relationships happen. That is where the connections happen. That is where that's their doors into windows of opportunity, and connecting with people, connecting with ideas, connecting with resources, connecting with communities. It all happens at the point of connection, whether it be content that's connecting, people that are connecting, services that are connecting. There's always more than meets the eye. So start to look outside of what you see, and what are you seeing peripherally. And then start to connect the dots between the stories, the words that people use, the values, what people care about, the audience, what the audience cares about, the work. What is the work that you're doing? What is that solution that you're providing? And the community that's built around that solution. Why do they care? Why do they need this? What's going on? What is it that you're helping them with? Start to think of these as puzzle pieces that you're putting together. And how do they connect? Because they connect. Each different set of connections is a different story. So, get curious about this, really dig into it, because this is where the magic happens. So, with audiences, many people just focus on getting new clients. It's not about just new clients. Our audience is all around us. So it could be industry leaders, networks of people, and that could be networking groups. It could be a network of people around a tool that you use or an event that you go to. or an industry, like, so where are these little ecosystems showing up where you can kind of loop them together, right? Strategic partners, people that are doing work similar to yours, same audience of people, collaborators, the media, podcasts, influencers. Think back to past and present clients. Who are the best clients you worked with? Who were the worst clients you worked with? What was the change that you created for them? What was the change that was created in you by working with them? Think of all of those things. And vendors, people often forget that the tools that they use in their businesses, or services that they use in their businesses, are often a pull into an entire audience of people that's similar to the audience that you're looking to connect with. So as you're putting all of these pieces together, you want to start gathering. And what you're gathering is audience intelligence. And this is so much more than a persona. This is so much more than, Bob the CPA, who's 40, lives in New Jersey, has a wife, 2.5 kids, a dog, and likes football. We don't care about that. What we care about, what is he saying? What are the words that he uses? Where is he showing up on social media? What podcasts does he listen to? What media is he interviewed on? Where does he get up on a stage or go to an event? Who who does he influence and who influences him? What are the topics that interest him or that he talks about? These are all little bits of information that you can start to pull together and weave this rich mosaic of a person instead of a paper cutout of Bob the CPA from New Jersey. So, like, what makes him tick? What does he care about? What nonprofits does he support? Does he volunteer his time? Does he have children? Does he do things with his children? I mean, all of these pieces are just pieces of rich information. So, listening and positioning. As you start to listen, you want to think about, where do I fit in all of this? I don't want to just shove myself in Bob's life, like, so how do I fit there? So always listen first, because when you listen first, these answers will come to you. You'll see where you fit in. Think about, like, when you go to a networking event or some kind of business event in person. um, what is the approach that you take when you walk into that room? The same approach should be taken online, because that's what you're comfortable doing. And you can lurk a little bit. You can listen to what people are saying. You could see what they're sharing. You could see the platforms they're showing up on. What are they recommending to their friends? All of these things are little bits of information that you can gather together to create this piece of audience intelligence that gives you so much more than a persona would give you. So when you listen first, go to social media, listen to podcasts, look at the media, that your audience is reading. Where do you fit into that? Like, who would be able to interview you? Who's the right journalist to connect with? What's the podcast you could be on? Where your topic would fit right in, and your audience, the audience of that podcast, would be really interested to hear what you had to say. What are the events that where you can be whether, even if you're just going as a guest and you're attending the event, there's so much you can glean just from being a guest at an event, or simply reading through an event web page with new eyes. What are the topics that are of interest to this audience? And you can see that through the podcasts, through the events, through the media. um, Look and see what they're publishing. And if that audience is an audience that's similar to yours, your audience is going to be interested in the same things. Search listening, simply Googling something and reading through every bit of the search results page. You can get so much information from there. I just took a couple of people through that process and they were blown away. Um, One of the women on the call told me that she had enough ideas from that one exercise to come up with months of content. And we never clicked on anything. Well, we clicked on the Instagram account, but that was it. We didn't click on any of the other things. We just wove together the information that we found from that one page. And listen to the actual words that your audience uses. When you speak to your clients, what are the words that emotionally charge them? When you're working through a problem with one of your clients, or an issue or something that they're excited about, what are the words that you can feel them get emotional about. Those are the words that you want to use, because Google has its own set of algorithms, but I like the internal keyword. That means that the people that I want to connect with get excited about these words, so I'm going to use them. Connect on social. So once you find your people, go say hi. Comment. Commenting is a strategy. You don't have to have tons of content. You don't have to be pushing things out and making reels every day and doing all these things. Have enough content up there so people can, get to know who you are. Have a really good website, have some content on your website. Um, but less is more. I'd rather see everybody have a couple of bits of really good content than thousands of blog posts that mean nothing or social posts that mean nothing. Really think about what your audience needs and wants and then create. And in BeVisible.club, we help you gather your audience. So I'm going to move on to content now, which is the third segment of that graphic. So we all have so much content. If you've been in business for any number of years, we've got a ton of stuff. It's sitting somewhere in a Dropbox, in a Google Drive, and we forgot about it. Start digging through that. Even just go to your blog dashboard and start looking through some of the blogs you have, and start to think about all of the things that we've already gathered, what your audience wants, what they care about, know their preferences, create content that could be repurposed again and again. All of this stuff that I'm creating now is from a program I created 12 years ago, and I'm repurposing it and rebuilding it, but it's basically the same. It's built on things that don't change. Curate and share the content of your audience. People love when you share their stuff. Be very intentional and build a system around it for two reasons. One, it's easy. Two, you can delegate. So start with what you have. Go in and start poking around and take it through the tried and new process. What stays, what goes, what could be upcycled or repurposed, what could be sold, what could be given away. Take it through that process and organize it, and then just create a calendar. This month I will do this, next month I will do this, the month after that I will do that. Don't try to do it all at once. Space it out so it can actually get done. And be mindful of what you've left in the digital dust. We have gold on those digital shelves. So we help you redesign your content and be visible as well. Visibility opportunities are everywhere. So we're going to dip into the publicity side, media, and opportunities. These are three different columns with where you can find speaking opportunities, podcast guesting opportunities, and media opportunities. And this is just a small little list. There are so many places, and it does not need to be hard, and you do not need to do all of these things. I'm just putting them up there to show you that there are so many opportunities to find things. You just need to be a little crafty and a little curious, and also being mindful of what you actually need. So do you want to get 4 or 5 speaking opportunities in the next year? Do you want to book yourself on a podcast a month or 2 podcasts a month? So it does, like, create your plan based on what your goals are. It's really easy to get overwhelmed and just say, well, I have to do all of these things and I have to be on all of these places. You really don't. If you remember how much you need, remember, I'm going to, go out on that limb again. We're all really small businesses. We don't need that much. So, base everything on what you need coming in. So before, during, and after the interview, we go through this in great detail in this entire masterclass that we have in Be Visible. We want to make sure that you're prepared. You have a media kit, speaking topics, a headshot, a pitch email that you can customize for every pitch because you're not blanket pitching anything, an offer that you can, put out at the end of an interview, or have it on your website where people can, get on your list, or, you can let people know where you can be found, and a plan for before, during, and after the interview, because you don't want to just have interviews and then they'll have them like sizzle off into the ether. Um, Most interviews are online now. And even if they're in live or in person or on TV or live radio, there is still an online component to that. And those go on in perpetuity. So you can keep sharing those in different ways over and over and over again. Before the pitch, you want to do some research, add the show to your podcast list, know the show, listen to it, connect on social before you even pitch, subscribe, leave a review, become part of that community before you even ask to be introduced to that community. The pitch, make sure that you know the right person to pitch or use an online request form if one is available. Know the interviewer's style and the show vibe. Make sure you're a good fit. One of the biggest complaints that podcasters have is that they get pitched for people to be guests on their show, but they don't interview guests. So you want to know that before you send a pitch. Personalize every single pitch. And we have templates that you can start with, use as a starting point. And don't use AI to create pitches. You can use AI to create your shitty first draft of a pitch, but you want to customize that. You want to make sure that it really reflects who you are because they get so many pitches. You want to be the one that stands out, not the one that gets your email blocked. Include your contact information, links to your media kit. Don't put attachments because they might not even get through because of spam filters. Track your communications in a spreadsheet or a CRM and follow up and stay connected on social. This person is now a media contact. You have a relationship with this person. Treat it as a valuable relationship. So, prepping for interviews, have your sound bites ready, ask if the show is audio or video. If it's video, you want to be ready for that. What are you going to wear? Look at the branding of the show. You don't have to match their brand, but you also shouldn't clash with their brand. Have your offers ready, test your tech, be rested. Like, don't stay out all night the night before. If you've got a 12 o'clock interview, don't work until 11:58. Take a half hour off before, have a few deep breaths, have something to drink, get a breath of fresh air. Be calm and relaxed. You'll give a much better interview. Um, Ask when the show will air, and add it to your marketing mix even before the show is live. You can still post up that you were interviewed on this podcast. It's got great guests. Go, encouraging your community to go listen. If you have a particular episode that you really like, you can point that out, and you could also connect with the other guests. Now you've got something in common. After the interview, share. Keep it evergreen. Don't sell. I mean, during the interview, sorry. Share your stories. Keep it evergreen. Don't sell. Be you. Actively listen because there could be an agenda, but the conversation goes in a different direction. Always go with that conversation. Be prepared to share what's next for you and how you can connect, and ask how you can help share or recommend guests. Ask if they have a specific hashtag that they use, or if there's any specific way that they like to share the shows. And always go that extra mile. It doesn't take very much, and most people don't. So just by being kind, being thoughtful, um, it goes a long way because most people are just like in and out the door, want what they want, got what they needed, and they leave. Don't be that person. After the interview, say thanks. Set up alerts. Set up Google alerts or Talkwalker alerts, both free services. You can Google them and get the information and put up the title of the interview, your name, the host, whatever it might be. And because they don't always tell you when an interview goes live. So this way you're getting the information and then you can share it, you can thank them, you can connect again. Repurpose the content in different ways. Ask other people to share. Share it more than once. Utilize all of your marketing channels and be sure to add it to your media webpage and media kit so you can keep showing that you're growing your media portfolio. Stay connected. Every podcast host, related guest, and sponsor is now a connection. And on the media side, it's journalists, it's the publication, Anybody else you might have worked with, in the process of being interviewed. Sometimes other people are pulled into the equation. Say hi, like, comment, and share their content. Always be listening. Who else is in the conversation? Where can you grow your audience through this? Now maybe the person who does makeup, the photographer, three people that work at a publication. How can you stay connected to them? What hashtags are they using? Where is the common ground? Where is that root system? Build that root system. Media strategy. When you get started, don't go too big. Find small lists of media podcasts, whatever it is that you might want to be on. Maybe it's 5 podcasts, maybe it's 3 media outlets, maybe it's 2 speaking opportunities. Start there. Don't say I need to be looking at 50 different podcasts and 17 different speaking opportunities. Start small, understand the process, understand where you screw it up, because you will. Learn from your mistakes, learn from the responses that you get. Keep track of those responses. This is why keeping this in a spreadsheet or a CRM is so important, because you'll be able to remember the communications you've had with different people. Particularly on the media side, journalists move often, or sometimes they're freelancers and they're working for 4 or 5 publications. You want to know what that journalist likes even more than the outlet, because they're working for multiple publications. So you have now, if you have a relationship with that journalist, you have a relationship to potentially 4 or 5 publications instead of just one. So build these relationships. They are invaluable. And we help you be visible inside BeVisible.club. We help you prepare for all of this. We've gathered all of the tools, the resources, templates, everything that you need to be able to be media ready for your head snap moment. Don't try to pitch for things before you're ready, because you want to be the person that stands out from all of the noise. Everybody is just thinking this is easy now with AI, but it's work, and you want to do it right, and you want to show up in your best light. So now we're going to go into some of the other things that are included in here, and one of them is artificial intelligence, and it's not new. We've been using this for years on Grammarly, Waze, Siri, Alexa, all of these different tools that we use, integrated with our phone, with our computers, with our cars. So, we are connecting with computers on a regular basis. And AI has been around for a while, but on November 30th, ChatGPT came out and really changed the landscape. And it's going to change. It is already changing how we work. It's going to change our educational system, our healthcare system. I saw something the other day that they have shopping carts with handles that can detect if you have AFib. I mean, that's crazy. Communications, how we communicate on every level, the media, online searches, financial institutions, how we think, respond, and seek and process information is all going to be changed. It's all going to change. And there are parts of this that are going to be wonderful, and there are parts of this that are going to be, a nightmare. But it's here. It's not going away. We need to kind of go with it. And we need to know how it works, and we need to know when we should use it and when we shouldn't use it. And the big part of the whole Be Visible platform is exploring AI and figuring out, how we can use it to solve problems. And when it is a computer that could solve that problem, when it's a human that needs to solve that problem, or when it's a combination of both. So it's not about, just following the AI and doing whatever, using it for everything. It's more about how can we adapt with this and use the tools, not let the tools use us. And, we're the ones that are running this. And there are 2 different AI experiences in Be Visible. One is I've created custom chat boxes that work with the content. So, like, as you're going through the workbooks, if there's something that would be a good use of an AI tool, it's built right in there. We've built the prompts in the back end. You just put in the variables of what you want to find, and then the results come up. And we've also got a prompt library that is going to be a work in progress forever. But basically, for all of these different business solutions, there are different prompts that you can go and put into your own AI tool and figure out, how you could use it there. And we haven't even really touched on this very much. We've only been up and running for about 2 months with a really small group of people, and we've been focusing primarily on story and audience. But we're about to dive into this, and we're going to be like workshopping together, doing this together to figure out, how do we do this where it works? How do we do this where it works for us? And as how do we do this as just regular people? We're not AI specialists, we're not techie gods, we're just regular business people that are trying to get through the day. So, how do we use this in a way that it's beneficial? For us, it's beneficial for the work that we're trying to do and for the people that we're trying to connect with. So, it will add to the existing noise online. It already has. But what audiences connect with is what they feel. And robots don't have feelings. So you have to put more of you into what you do. And that's why the story piece of this is so important. We really all have to go back to our stories and tighten them up and pull back the pieces that we let go, because it's here. It's not like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It is here, and like 6 months from now, everything that we're doing right now is going to be totally different because it's moving so fast. But it can't be you. So you have to be more you, and that is where like the success happens, right? Because this is where you're not going to lose your work. This is where you're not going to lose your standing because nobody else could be you. The robots can practice and they can try, but you know, you can see it coming and then you can go even deeper and be even more you. So there's this balance of finding where is this a useful tool and where is this a detriment to what I'm trying to accomplish. And we are really going to really work on that divide, and like how do we ride that, so we really know how to use these tools to serve us the best that they possibly can. So a couple of really good ideas is research, brainstorming, repurposing content, summarizing content, gathering quotes, menu planning. If you're the in any kind of business related to food, it's great for menu planning. Write shitty first drafts of anything, emails, marketing copy, social media, even books. But it's a shitty first draft. Some people need to look at something on the paper, and you can get something on the paper and work with it. And we help you make sense of AI. And we're doing this together. I'm right here with everybody. I have been studying it. I know a little bit about it. I'm learning. I'm always open to learning more, but I am by no means an AI expert. So, BeVisible.club is a learning community, and Tried and New is part of it. And it's just, I actually want to take you in and show you what it looks like. So, let me just pop over. Um, I think you should be able to see this. I hope you could see this. I'm just going to look at my phone and see if I could see this. I may need to just bear with me for one moment. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and then I am going to share again where you can see what I'm working on. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Right. This is not working either. Give me 1 minute. I'm sorry. All right, I know what to do now. Okay. All right. Okay, so in BeVisible.club, it's built in on the Heartbeat platform, which is relatively new. I think it came out, I don't know, probably about a year ago, but they're really building it up to be a pretty robust platform. I'm quite happy with it. So when you first come in, there is a start here section. That's where you should start. It gives you an overview of everything that's in there, where you can find things, codes and conduct. There are cool tools and resources. So what I have been doing is I've been keeping all of the tools and resources outside of the curriculum. This way, everybody can access them regardless of what they're doing, because you might need them for, you know, something. But we have AI tools, audience research tools, design tools, PR tools, SEO keyword tools, social media tools, speaker resources, and transcription services. And there's more coming, because this is just, I've tried to build this in a very fluid way because everything is going to change so rapidly. I have been building online courses since the 1990s, so I've made all of my mistakes. um, and I just want to make it so it's easy for me to keep up to date, and it's easy for people to pop in and get what they need. It's not a linear course. I do recommend starting with the storytelling and with the audience development, but these other things, content development, PR, all of that, and even the storytelling and um, the PR, I mean, storytelling and the audience development, they're things that you're going to need to go back to. So I want everybody to have access to everything, and to come into this community as a long time goal, and a long time process, like to this is a place to come and stay. I'm going to build a business family where we're doing this and we're working together, and we're facing all of these changes together instead of running around. I haven't started this yet, but I have a list of really incredible experts that I'll be bringing in as well. And again, it's going to be very fluid. So if there's a specific type of guest expert we need, or a tool that we find that we need, I will find the person and bring them in. Um, so this, let me just go back to the documents here. Um, the prompt library, it's not connected yet because it's in Notion, but there's some issue with connecting it, but it will be connected soon. We're just trying to figure that out. So okay, we should see this now. So again, the prompts, and I don't have them all in here. I have them in a spreadsheet. I'm adding them, but they're based on the 4 different categories of the tried and new process: storytelling, audience development, content creation, media, and then I added business model here because this is where we're going to have a lot of questions about, like, things that might be, and they're just basic. It's a Notion database. So the prompts are in there. You just copy and paste them. And again, this is going to be a work in progress because we're going to need different things as you need things. We're going to be doing this together, growing this together. So I'm going to go back into the BeVisible platform, and you can get the AI prompt library there. All of the meeting replays are here, including transcriptions. This is the tried and new course, which I'm going to come back to in just a moment. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to go here because it's not actually the course. This is like an overview of what it is. It tells you where to start. And then these are all of the things these are the modules and lessons for each one of these modules that are in here. So it's quite robust. It's not all built out yet, but it is all in process. And, I'm releasing new content regularly. And again, it's always going to be a work in progress because it's always going to change. All right, now I'm going to go to threads. So there are threads for different things to, have different conversations around. If you've got general questions, if you want to celebrate something, if you're having an issue, introductions, if you want to gather around with a few people and talk about some stuff. And then there are specific question areas for each one of the sections. So questions around AI or audience development or content. And I set it up this way because if you have questions, other people are going to have similar questions. And I haven't built out an FAQ yet, but I will, based on the questions that are asked in here and questions that are asked in the calls that we have twice a month. There is also a great search feature. So sorry, I hit the wrong button. There's also a great search feature. So like when you search up here, if I want to search for values, you can look in all of these places, or you can, decide where you want to look. And then it just pulls everything up for you. So it pulls from all the places and it tells you wherever the word values was used. And then there's a direct message option as well. And so that's what's there. Directory is all of the people that are in there. And when you sign up, you're invited to create an account, which is free. And you're asked a couple of questions, and all of that is set up for you. So you don't have to go back in and set up your profile or anything like that. It's all done in the intake process. So events are really nice. It's connected with Zoom. You set up your events. I set up 2 months worth of events, and I did it in 15 minutes. And you have access to past events. So like when you go to a past event, it's got the recording, who was in attendance, and if anybody leaves any feedback, it's right there. So you can always go back to that. But I did, under documents, I did create another section too. When you set up the events, it connects with your Zoom. You connect your Zoom account, and it puts the Zoom link right here. So people just need to come right in here whenever they want to join an event, and then everything is right at their fingertips. So I'm going to go into the courses now, and this is, okay. So we only have one course, Tried and New, and these are all of the modules. Under the module is lessons. So each one has a lesson and a video. Okay. And then they also have, I'm just going to come and show you here. We've created these interactive workbooks. So we have workbooks for each one of the modules. So you can, and they're built in Google Forms, so you can just go in, type your information. After you finish your information, what you'll do is you'll get an email with all of your responses. And if you want to change it, you can go in and you can change it, and you'll get an email with your updated responses. And we've got other things built through here as well. I'm just going to scroll down a bit. I put in Brene Brown's value exercise, and I did I included all of her information. She had a podcast about this and also a document about that, because this is how you can start to kind of like identify the shared values with your audience. And I am also certified in Brene Brown's Dare to Lead methodology. So if you need any extra help with that, I can help with that as well. And then there's a document that I use called a brain trust, which is basically a spreadsheet, and it's a place where you go and you put all the things you're gathering. So, we have tabs at the bottom, and the way that I have been using this for many years, and I represent each tab as an advisory board member. So it could be all kinds of things. I put all the tabs that I typically use with clients, but you can edit this. You can make a copy of this and edit it to be anything you want it to be. But it could be, who's in your audience, some quotes, authors, celebration days, job titles to search, podcasts to pitch, any of that information. And you put it here, and it almost becomes like this visibility database, and it becomes your media list. It makes it easy to delegate because you can be working back and forth, and it's simply a spreadsheet. That's all it is. It's a Google form. That's it. But it works. It's not fancy. And then the other thing that I'm creating, let me see if I can find it with all of these other tabs I've got going on here. Here we go. So I'm also creating a planner because you have the workbooks to go through, you have the brain trust where you really dump a lot of stuff, but sometimes you just want like an overview plan, and that's what this is. So I'm still in the process of creating it, but it will be in there soon. And it's just going through all of the things: your mission, your values, story bits, like collect your story bits, your audience. So this is where you would, maybe do like your 3-month plan with this, but everything else would be in the brain trust. And some people just prefer to print it out and write. So I'm creating that as well. And the last thing I wanted to show you was when you're in the questionnaires and you see Chatty. Chatty is our personal AI assistant. She's a little pink brain with a crown. And these are the chat boxes that I've created, right? So again, I have it open, but you can just click on it, and when you see that, and these are customized. So I write the prompts on the back end, and then you just put in your criteria. So for this one, we're doing a podcast search, and we're finding targeted podcasts to pitch. And we'll use this list as a starting point. And we put in the topic of the podcast, and then the name of somebody that may have been a past guest. So this will help us, like maybe there's somebody that is a colleague of ours or somebody that's a little ahead of us on the food chain. And what podcast was this person on, related to a specific topic? I'm not going to hit submit because with Zoom and sharing and all of those things, it's really slow. But basically, you just put in the information, and then it gives you a list of podcasts. And again, it's AI. You need to check it. You need to go make sure that podcast still exists. You need to make sure that they're taking guests. It's not, click and pitch. It's click, get the information, figure out if it makes sense, use it as a starting point. And I am just going to flip back here into uh, BeVisible, and that's pretty much it. Actually, I'll go back to the slides now. Oh no, I know where we're going to go. I am going to go to the web page and show you a couple of things there. Okay, so on the web page there's a video on here if you want to see a little behind the scenes, but it's basically what I just took you through. We've got a couple of testimonials, but again, we've only got a few people in here, and I wanted to be mindful of using testimonials just for this. This is stuff that I've been doing for many years, but we've only been doing this particular thing for 2 months. And so there are two options for joining BeVisible. There is a monthly membership that gives you access to everything, and it's month to month, so you can cancel anytime you want to. But everything that is available to you in the monthly membership, and that's $150 a month. I really think an annual membership is more enticing for this because it's long-term work. you're not going to get what you need in a month. You're not going to get what you need in 2 months. This is something that you're going to continually have to work on. And I really do want to make this attractive to join the annual membership and make the commitment to your visibility, to your content, to your audience, to yourself, to your story. And everything is included in the annual membership. There are a couple of bonuses. One, you get 2 months free, and the other one is you get a half day group strategy session that's valued at $500. And we just did a small group strategy session 2 weeks ago with 5 people, and it was unbelievable. It was 4 hours. Everybody had a half an hour, and we still had time, to talk back and forth and take breaks. And it was really incredibly powerful. Everybody walked out of there with something, and I basically created strategies for everyone. And because I was able to do that work, I really know them. I really know what they want, and um, that's how I can help. And I find things. I've been doing this for years. I know how to find things. If you tell me what you want, I'll find stuff for you, and I give it. I'm very generous. So the annual option is $1,500, and when you're in, you're in. So these are the two options throughout the summer. My plan is to get 20 people in here and really grow this and grow everybody's success and visibility through these strategies. Once I hit 100 people, I'm shutting it down, and it's going to stay capped at 100 people. I want it to be small and intimate, and I want everybody to be able to have a place where they are visible and they are heard, and um, they feel safe and comfortable to share. So that is, I'm going to stop sharing just so, um, okay, I'm forgetting where I am. Okay, so I can see faces, but that's what I'm offering. The website is BeVisible.club. It's available now. I'd love to have you join us. We have meetings twice a month live, the first Thursday and the third Monday. And they've been amazing. It's just been such an incredible experience, not only for the people that are inside, but for me as well, because I was looking for this for myself. I was looking for um, people to be in community with, to have this business family, to be able to, go through the changes of business and technology and everything the way it's a whole new world. And I don't want to do it alone, and I think we all do too many things alone. So I really do hope you'll consider joining me. If you have any questions, please reach out. You can instant message me or email me. I'm easy to find. But this is not a big high pressure thing, and there's no big deadline. It's just we want to get some more people in there and do the work together. So thank you for spending some time with me. If you're on the replay, leave any comments, just tag me, and I'll respond. And thanks.